Vilkomen Venn. Today we launch into part 2 of our story. Our two adventurers are deep in the pine forest, where an unknown apparition tries to tempt them into danger. Grab your tankards and let's continue our adventure. The voice came closer. Branches bent where nobody passed. When it stepped into the faint light, it wore the suggestion of a man, as if it had been described to itself by someone who had only heard stories. Ursa stood slowly and smiled. She turned to Asa and without words told her, "Stay put." Ursa walked slowly away, making more noise than needed, snapping twigs beneath her feet she would never disturb otherwise. Asa watched as Ursa disappeared into the darkness and silence fell around her. The thing turned its head, centering its gaze on Asa. She held her breath, its eyelessness burning through her. Behind it, Ursa struggled in the bramble, catching its attention. The creature turned its body towards the sound, but kept its gaze on Asa as it scampered into the darkness of the pines. It fell without sound, surprised by a ledge it had not accounted for. Before Asa's heart could begin to beat again, Ursa was beside her, gesturing silence. They did not linger to see if it climbed out. When the forest thinned into foothills, Ursa finally laughed. That, she said breathless, was almost interesting. Asa gave her a long look. "You lied to it." Ursa shrugged. "It lied first." They camped that night with their backs to stone, too tired to take shifts. The stars were sharp. Asa traced them with her eyes, listening to how the open pastures held their breath. "You don't trust me," Ursa said in the dark. "No," Asa agreed. "But I trust the land," she added, "and it hasn't tried to rid itself of you yet." Ursa laughed in the dark. The land did not improve after the depths of the forest. It only changed how it tested them. The pines gave way to rolling foothills and broken valleys where fog gathered and refused to lift. Paths existed only because something had used them before, and even that was not a promise. Ursa knew absence was to be read carefully as a sign. Where birds did not settle, she did not walk. Where insects would not land, she did not stop. Asa felt the ground grow strange beneath her feet. "This soil is not what it seems," she said one evening, crouched beneath a stream. Ursa squatted beside her and dipped a finger and rubbed it. "It's too smooth." Asa nodded. "It wants to be trusted." They drank from snowmelt instead and went to bed thirstier than they would have liked. They thought of home. On the 10th day, hunger made Ursa reckless. She took a rabbit without waiting for Asa's nod, snared it fast and clean. When Asa returned from scouting, she found Ursa already cooking, fire bright, smoke reckless. "That was not for us," Asa hissed. "It's fine," Ursa said. "There are no beasts here. This rabbit knew no fear." That rabbit was protected. Asa made marks in the ground where its blood had been spilled. They ate in silence. Waste would have made it a worse offense. That night, something came close enough that Asa felt it through the ground. Heavy, curious, deciding. Ursa's hand stayed on her knife until dawn, and in the morning she could not meet Asa's gaze. They traveled on. They crossed land that had been burned long ago, where trees stood black and hollow like accusations. Wind passed through them like a warning urgently whispered. The area unsettled both women, but for different reasons. "Fire remembers," Asa said quietly. "So does fear," Ursa replied. They both slept poorly. The next morning, they picked their way out of a ravine. The rocks were loose and the incline steep. Asa slipped and Ursa reacted on instinct, caught her wrist, and ran where the fall lost its hunger and scattered itself to chaos. They lay afterward on cold stone, hearts racing, the world continuing as though theirs had not nearly ended, and with them the hopes of their village. The thought lay heavy on their minds. "You should watch your footing," Ursa said, maybe too sharply. Asa sat up, brushed the dust from her palms. "You should let go faster." Ursa snorted. "And miss the chance to die together? Never." That night, Ursa made the fire small and careful. Stay tuned for part 3 next week.